We're live.
Hello.
Greetings, nerds.
I never knew.
I never knew. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of Legends of Avantris.
Holy moly!
I know, right? Holy hand grenade, Batman. We nerds embarrass ourselves for your entertainment, and no one else's. You viewer, you watching this right now, it's only for you, none of our other viewers.
Yeah.
You know, it's all for you, not for you guys, just for you.
You're the best.
You really are the best. So, just some housekeeping rules. If you guys are new, welcome. We have a good time here. Hopefully you agree. If you're returning, thank you so much, guys. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. We had a blast on Monday, so it's good to see you guys back again. A little bit of housekeeping. We've been playing together for 2.5 years. I think the 13th of this month is 2.5 years. And we are playing 5th edition. We started in December of 2015. And we've been playing 5th edition D&D. We do mostly rules as written, but we do some rules as fun. A lot of homebrew incorporating 4th edition, other editions, and things like that. And I guess a big announcement tonight is we are actually doing a huge mega giveaway of a bunch of 500 followers, which is a custom dice bag, which could look like this or anything else you want. Nikki makes it. She's super crafty, so you can choose your exterior, your interior, your patch, whatever you want. We'll be giving away a custom dice tray. This is just a prototype.
Work in progress.
It'll kind of pinch up, and you can roll your fun old dice in this. This is real leather, but if you're not a fan of leather, we can work on alternatives for that, so no worries there. And finally, a set of your own dice. This is courtesy of Chessex, but not courtesy of, we bought it, but they're not our sponsors.
Cease and desist.
Yeah.
Cease and desist.
Our sponsors, they're not our sponsors. Our sponsors are Marvel Puzzle Quest.
And Sherman Ultra.
And Sherman Ultra. No dingleberries. And actually, because we're so close to 300 followers, we're actually going to give away tonight.
Surprise
Giveaway of, as soon as we hit 300, we're only like, 4 away?
Yeah.
So when we hit it, we're going to be giving a custom dice bag away.
Oh my goodness.
Lindy, I guess our business isn't working, our notifications.
Our little ding ding.
What? No, it's right there.
But it doesn't make a noise.
Oh shit. Okay, continue.
Richie will fix it.
Pretend I'm not here.
Richie will fix it.
Thank
We'll
you.
get a noise. Thank you so much for subscribing. You're fantastic. We really appreciate every cheer, every follow, every sub. You know, you guys don't have to do that. So we're just glad you guys like to come and hang out with us.
And so because of that, we were like, well,
yes, that's right.
It would be fun, since we're so close to 300, to just do a random giveaway. So anyone who is a follower by the time we are done streaming tonight has a chance to win a custom dice bag.
Yes.
As long as we hit 300. So we are going to try and make it to
Tell your friends to please like
6.
subscribe.
That's all we need is 6.
6.
And then everyone after that is in it too.
I can't math.
Or 4.
Whatever
Or
it
6.
is.
Or
Whatever
4
it
or
is.
6.
When we hit 300, we'll celebrate. We'll have a big old party. And anything else?
No.
I guess I'll go around and introduce the party. We'll skip Rich real quick. We have Scotes playing Ganji Stormscale, a bronze dragonborn war cleric of Bahamut. We have Nikki playing Sylvie Flickerwicket.
A Sylvie Flickerwicket.
A Sylvie Flickerwicket, a forest gnome Arc-Fae patron. Oh, well, thank you, Legends of Avantris, for subscribing.
As a test.
As a test.
Yay!
Wow, this is really professional.
It's just really quiet.
Yeah.
Oh. No, we get that'll.
All up it.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Arc-Fae of the Summer Court, Titania.
That's me.
We then have Annulin Mossgrove, who is played by Kelsey. She is a wood elf ranger, a hunter ranger. We then have Andy playing Vandris Truestrike, a high elf rogue, and of the swashbuckler variety. And if
The
you
pleasure is all mine.
Nothing personnel, kid. That would be assassin. So it used to be nothing personnel, and now it's the pleasure of all mine. And another thing, if you want to follow someone who's amazing at streaming and plays video games, and we're all hanging out there on our off nights, come follow the great _Andini. It's Andy's Twitch name. He'll be chatting. Follow him. It's a great time. There's always a bunch of us in there.
Lots of WoW.
Lots of WoW. Some League.
A few League games.
Yeah, so it's a great time. And then also we have a Discord. So if you like hanging out with us, we're on Discord all the time. So come hang out with us outside of the sessions on Discord. And then finally, the man behind the computer is is Richie
tech guy.
playing our tech guy. Richie playing Rodek Stonehearth.
Rodek
He
Ock
is Stonehearth.
I never
He is a
No, hold on.
okay. Yeah, a lot of catchphrases. A lot of catchphrases. He is a Mountain Dwarf fighter of the Battlemaster variety. And so, with that, we'll get into what happened last time on Legends of Avantris. So, after recently defeating King Krem the Cruel in combat and beheading him, you worked on a plan to
Thanks for the
welcome
follow,
Fenrir. And if you're a subscriber, flash your Hooters, show the love and flash your Hooters.
Yeah, flash those
You
Hooters.
get the adorable. There we go. Let's see them Hooters, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, baby.
Great. So, you deposed King Krem. After getting some rest, you heard something on the horizon coming up the mountain.
Thank you, Rabbit.
Oh, thanks, Rabbit. You the best. Look at them cute puppy dogs. Angry voices marching, clanging of metal. You realize there was a huge mob of the Lockjaws rushing up the mountain, potentially after hearing that King Krem had died. A huge throng, basically an army swarming you. You thought quickly and decided to pass on the mantle of King to your good friend Ratling, who shockingly survived the battle. And Ratley was a little hesitant at first, but you psyched him up, pumped him up, told him that Vic the Vicious and Nick the Nasty were horrible lies and were personas. He took it better than could be expected, and you gave him the courage to become King Ratley the Righteous. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
King Ratley the Righteous. He gave a stirring speech to all of his fellow crooks and decided that they would no longer be crooks per se, I guess, no longer pirates, but they had an island full of natural resources, precious diamonds and ore and the like, and that they would be merchants and traders, and that there would be no more tyranny from any kind of authoritative figure. After establishing, effectively convincing most of the crowd, and Ratley promising not to murder or execute any people who had previously been loyal to King Krem before the revolution was successful, the rest of the crowd seemed to be bought in. And Ratley, as his first active king, effectively aided you guys with a number of potions, because he knew you were going down into the depths, and you were his fabled mercenaries that he told of his people. They were going down to take care of Orpheus right away. After getting your final bits of aid, you bid him farewell, gave him a sending stone. So remember, Rodek gave him a sending stone.
Oh,
Tried to give him Rodek.
A Rocky Talkie, excuse me, not a sending stone. What is this business? There's the Rocky Talkies. After giving him a Rocky Talkie so he could communicate with you, you descended this magical elevator deep into the volcano. Deep, going down and down. Became incredibly oppressively hot as you realized you were in Orpheus's lair. You solved a few puzzles. You used one of your diamonds in order to get into the first door. You then encountered a huge statue of Orpheus with a door that required to bring it true beauty. You tried to bring it jewels and jewelry, but the statue came alive and attacked you, and all it wanted was to place... Oh my goodness!
God.
Cage or
Kage?
Kage or Cage, whichever one.
My face win? Oh no, my win face?
My win face. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The true beauty was his beautiful face of the statue. He placed it on there.
Ooh,
And the next chamber seemed to have been Orpheus's stash of magical items and artifacts and gold that he had stored away over the years, seemingly kind of thrown about haphazardly. Not really, seems like kind of the way that he had addressed the artifact that he had thrown Avantris at the very beginning of the campaign. That things that he didn't think could help him in his quest, he didn't really care that much about. And on the door, it said, touch nothing. And so, using the power of friendship, welcome again,
Thanks
Kage,
for the
or
follow.
Paige. Thanks for the follow and the sub. You're amazing. They use the power of friendship and the 80s to all leap into
the power of the 80s.
The power of the 80s. I feel like that's like the theme of this campaign, the power of the 80s. They leapt into the air at the same time, and that unlocked the door. They then went into a very dark room. Ganji blew all of his 3rd level spell slots to dispel the magical darkness.
Don't worry, I'm still bitter about it.
In order to dispel the magical darkness, though. So they did not have to go into this room blind. And it was there Rodek saw that this is a long hallway of sorts, just lined with dozens and dozens and dozens of corpses of lockjaw crooks, of these crocodilian lizard folk. All of them chained to the ground in various states of decay, but most of them had the same feature of a burst out rib cage, as if something had bored its way out. And they saw that it had a porous ceiling, lots of holes kind of bored into the ceiling.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah, and with that, you are now standing in this room of horror as the smell of rot is finally hitting your nostrils strongly. The darkness is gone, but it's still the magical darkness is gone, but it's still a very dark room. Your dark vision only goes so far and does so much. But you are truly able to see the horrors that Orpheus has done to these poor crocodiles. And so what are you guys going to do?
Run away.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. I'm gonna look around. How many are there around the room?
So you see dozens lining the walls, and
It does that.
Dozens.
dozens.
And the room is completely lit.
No, it's dark.
Oh, it's dark. So
So it's dark, it's just not magically dark.
And what I would probably remember the horrific experience we had with the last gang. Okay, so remembering this, and I go and I find any one that's not burst open, and I want to go to the first one that I see that's not collapsed and just, like, chop right into it.
Okay, so make a perception check real quick.
Oh, shit. Ooh, that's not good. 9.
You look around, and it's difficult to tell immediately. Some of them are kind of like they have a little bit of a hole, so you just run into the room, swinging wildly, as your axe is bursting these cavities that you can at least...
Sword now.
Sword, that's right.
Yeah.
Your sword, King Krem's sword, is bursting these chest cavities as these bursts of gas, kind of as you're rupturing these corpses.
Well, so after the first one, do I see, like, the corpse of a tadpole inside?
So you slice into one. Welcome,
Thanks for the follow.
Agnes, rather, whatever it is.
Agents.
You.
A gensman.
A gensman.
So you go to the first one and you just slice in, and nothing. You don't feel any movement, but you pull your sword away and make a perception check for me.
Oh, that's better. 24.
As you pull your sword up, the burst of corpse gas assaults your nostrils, and as soon as you cough a bit and you look down and you see there, curled up, now chopped in 2 pieces, is a huge tadpole monstrosity.
I knew it! Help me out!
Rodek, what are you doing? Settle down.
It's the tadpoles!
Oh, do you want me to put its head on?
No. He's hatched at least a few, but we can at least stop some of these from bursting out.
You don't think that he would just discard any kind of viable test subjects, do you?
Remember, he had to stew them for months. He was very upset last time we destroyed them. So there's still a chance to at least stop these that haven't burst out.
Okay, well then do what
All
you
right,
did.
I'm not
over and
opposed.
over. Again.
I want to keep an eye out to the holes in the ceiling.
You keep an eye out, and as you run in and you see and you beckon the rest of the group in, you start to see that littered amongst these corpses are also additional corpses of these tadpole creatures, some red, 1 or 2 of them blue, that seem to have made their way out but expired shortly after. And they are amidst these rows of corpses. And so you're going to...
Do you want me to wear one of those heads?
Can you just help me?
But how?
We have to destroy these.
You're
these
the
dead
one with the
things.
big sword.
All right, just.
I don't necessarily disagree with taking the time to perhaps purge these things, but I get the feeling that this could be some sort of reject chamber.
It could be, but honestly, I'm not willing to take that chance.
I've been stuck in
Agreed.
a reject chamber before, and I don't like it. I want to get out.
Well, then you would appreciate the fact that we need to do this fast.
My brother used to put me in one of those all the time.
That's
You never mentioned you had a brother.
Yeah, I have a lot of them. It's unimportant.
You do?
It's unimportant. They're
And it-
tadpoles.
It hasn't come up in the last year.
Well, we haven't been in a reject
All
chamber
right,
in the past year.
Well, we can talk about this later. I just if I will do the honors, at least watch my back. Somebody just keep their eyes out.
I'll
I'm
draw
going-
Venom's spine and help.
I'm going to stare intently at Rodek's back.
And I want to chop the tadpoles that are out but not cut in half. I want to cut them in half.
Okay. So you're
Can
going.
I investigate some of the ones that you said expired and see if I can tell, like, why?
Okay. Make an investigation check for me. And Vandris and Rodek, Ganji, what are you doing?
I was actually going to, not going ahead of them, but I'm going to walk forward and try to see if I can see the next door. And see if it says something.
Okay. So the you walk up. Anilin, what did you get?
19?
A 19.
Nice.
So Anilin, as Rodek and Vandris are going around just slicing all of these tadpole creatures in half, just sending bits of flesh flying, the clanging of metal is echoing in this chamber. It's still very dark. Aelin, you approach one, you kind of back them off just for a second as you kneel down over one of the red ones. And you see that this creature is spotted. It seems to be about the size of like a mid-sized dog, one of these creatures. And so you've seen smaller ones. And so you get the sense that this one may have popped out and grown, but you look around and you give the flesh a little touch, and
That's pretty gross.
it's misshapen, and its skin, all while seemingly taut and rubbery, seems to be unstable. You get the sense that make a nature check for me.
Turn the music up a little bit.
21.
21. You get the sense that although these ones were able to survive the chest bursting, that you get the sense that the bodies may not have even been stable to really maintain life outside of their cocoons, if you will.
Okay. I'm going to keep that information to myself.
Okay. With that, Ganji, you walk forward and inspect the door. You see a similar door to the ones that you've seen before, covered in chaotic-looking markings and runes, recognizing that to be Orpheus's signature at this point. You see at the bottom of this door, however, is a basin. And it says, "Only the blood of chaos may enter."
Okay, so I'm gonna relay that to the group.
Okay?
Hey!
Oh, man, that was very well coordinated, you guys.
Yeah, it was like instant.
I really hope you guys
like
count down
3,
in
2,
person.
1.
You know, it seems like you guys might almost be in a relationship of sorts. That you're so in sync with each other.
I can see it. I can see
can
it.
see
Thanks
it.
for the cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
So Ganji relays this information to you.
I wonder what that means.
And are these guys visibly bleeding when we cut them?
No. They seem relatively long dead. The ones... Rodek and Vandris, I need both of you to make an investigation check for me.
Ooh, that's not what you
On the same guy.
did. Natural 20.
Pickle Rick.
21.
21.
26.
Okay, so Vandris and Rodek, as you're going around slicing, bursting these chests, seeing some tadpoles, finding the rest, you get the sense that although it seems like many of these tadpoles are accounted for, there are a few missing ones. And you do get the sense, however, that every single one of these crooks likely expired due to the creature inside of it. That they all managed to at least get to some point far enough along to kill its host, due to your investigation.
Rodek, this is not good.
What do you think the word chaos means in this sense?
Well, knowing that Orpheus is quite the trickster, he probably means exactly the opposite. So whoever's the most cautious out of all of us probably needs to lose a hand. So I vote Rodek. And we cut his hand off and we put it in the basin in front of the door.
Watch it, lad.
Well, if you remember, you promised me one of your arms. I did not require it to be hand intact, and you are completely neutral, which means that you're neither chaotic nor good, and so maybe it means it's in the middle, and so we should cut off your entire arm. We can put the hand in the thing, and I'll take the rest of the arm and wear it around my neck.
That was only if I die.
But you said it was to get to Orpheus, and so if we had to make the sacrifice, I feel like it's...
We gotta get to Orpheus first, and if Orpheus kills me, then you can have my arm.
You read my mind, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay. Well,
I
I
don't
don't have divination magic of any kind, so I don't think I did that, actually.
No. I stopped for a second. Thinking. And I said, do we know anything about these tadpole things beyond they look like tadpoles and that are different colors?
Well, they're bigger than normal tadpoles. Well, because tadpoles are only like this big. And then sometimes they get up to this, oh my gosh, and then they turn into frogs. Wonder what Lumi did with that frog I asked her to bring me.
Rhoda, make a perception check.
Oh no. 17.
17. Rodek, you start to, as everyone's talking, you're looking around and you hear a familiar noise that you had heard when you first looked into this chamber. The sickening sound of slick kind of skin on stone. And you feel a shape loom over you and start to drop. And you are able to look up. You're able to only kind of gauge just in time the point that is not necessarily unseen, but you see above you a huge red shape. Are we still got live, guys? Sorry.
Probably.
Test.
Test. Check.
Can people see and hear us? Ah. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, we can hear you.
Yeah. It looked like. Thank you for the follow.
Thanks for the
Jedi
follow.
Are you live?
Jed
I
Knight.
I believe we're still live. Yes.
Check. Have we been live this whole time?
No, I don't think so.
No, it dropped out for a
Because
second.
people said
too, that's okay.
no, so I think
Okay.
it drops it, but then it just reconnects.
Okay. Good to know.
It's all set to never. It's just
Okay.
because of whatever's going on with the battery.
Okay. So, Rodek,
Alright. I'm here.
you see a red shape, leathery skin covered in spots, incredibly long arms with massive black claws. And you hear this horrific gibbering,
That was horrific.
guttural gibbering, as this creature with this broad grin and wild eyes with the head of what looks like a horrific monstrous toad leaps onto you and is going to make an attack.
So before
Can I
it
get
makes
my
an
sword out?
attack, because I've been staring at Rodek's back the entire time, can I just want to go, Lumi, you brought me my frog! And just get excited. And then that's it.
Okay. So, the creature leaps down and makes a swipe against Rodek, and it is going to Does 17 hit?
It does, actually.
17 hits. Okay. That is going to be... You're going to take 5 points of piercing damage as black claws
Can you get all
sink
this stuff off the
into
screen,
you.
please?
And I need to make a con saving throw, please.
Give me a d20 to roll. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay, so the claws sink into you, and it's going to come around with another one of its claws. And 17 again. The claws sink into you. This time, it is going to deal 11 points of piercing damage as the black claws sink into you, and then with both of its long fingernails is going to make a bite attack with its horrific toad-like mouth.
Is everything still choppy, guys?
I think it's still choppy.
A little.
Are we good? No?
Is it better than it was?
Yeah, it's fine. It goes in and out.
Okay. I'll continue to investigate after it's not my turn
Okay.
anymore. So it's that's just physical.
That's all physical,
Okay.
and then so it's going to make a bite attack against you, and after it gets both of its claws, but you need to make another con saving throw for the other claw hits you.
Higher.
Okay. And with that, I need everyone to roll initiative as
Can you
this.
give me my d20?
Oh, the sound is now not synced.
Ah.
Hey Wiley, how's it going? Welcome.
So I'm gonna say Ganji is up here.
So do we know what slots are?
Rhoda.
I don't
he's-
know.
We don't.
Well, I don't even know if this is a slot out of character, so but that's my guess.
I'm guessing.
Um.
Thanks, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate for spoiling.
So do you want to just take the stream down a bit, fix the sound just for a bit while we roll initiative?
Why don't we just keep talking? Let me
Okay.
I need to calculate my damage. And,
Okay.
5.
So 20 to 25.
I got a 20.
Okay.
I got a 21.
Okay. 15 to 20, 10 to 15 rather.
Well, I got an 18.
14.
14. This happens on my computer too with my monitors. It's not the internet, it's the connections here on the side. And there were 2 of these things that weren't fully plugged in. So I adjusted them the way
Are
they
you
need
back?
to be, and it should be fine.
So we
We'll
call
see
it
what
Call
all.
me back on Skype.
Yeah, I know. I just, Okay, so the less you have running, the better as well.
Let me. Welcome back. Are we back, guys? Hello? I will check Twitch. Sorry about this, guys. I apologize.
It's all good.
Still sound delay. I'm just gonna kind of check. 1 2 1 2. Sorry about this, guys. I apologize.
It's all good.
Still sound delay. I'm just gonna.
You've got the stream playing on your end, though.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good now. I think. I was just doing a sound sync check. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. I don't know what's going on with the laptop. Delay's gone. Hey, that's all it took was a crash,
Yeah.
Should be fine.
and then the delay is gone. How
Nikki
about
may have fixed it. We'll see. Stay
Good
tuned.
job, Nicole. Okay, can we finally fight a horrible toad monster?
No.
Always.
I
every
want
day.
to keep
Let's
him.
do it.
Okay. With that, you look at it, and it is once again doing that horrific guttural gibbering as its eyes look all around wildly. Although it had made its attack on Rodek, it is looking just violent, like shaking its neck all around. Its body is moving, gyrating. Annulin, you get a sense that this body also seems relatively unstable. Kind of similar to what you had inspected in the red tadpole, and this skin color does seem to be a similar shade of red to the tadpole that you saw. Okay, with that,
Can you, just before you go on, can you elaborate a little bit? By unstable, do you mean like it can't support itself, or like it's gonna explode, or like what do you mean by that?
The cable out of the camera.
you get the sense that it's difficult for you to tell what the response is, whether it's going to implode, explode, collapse, whatever it is. But you get the sense that whatever it is wholly unnatural. You're used to the natural worlds, and this is, I believe, flesh that you haven't seen that looks wholly unnatural and like nothing you've experienced, despite it looking toad-like. Does that make sense? Is that my answer to your question?
Yes,
okay.
it is. Okay.
Great. And with that, Rhoda, it's your turn. As it's looming over you.
Am I still standing? Like, did it knock me down?
Yeah, no, it did not knock you down.
Okay.
It just managed to get two attacks offline.
Oh, you shite! And I come back around and I'm going to attack him twice. Let's open with a power attack to keep it spicy. No. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 to hit?
12 to hit.
That is going to miss. As it dodges out of the way.
I'll attack
with it
again.
shifting.
Regular what? 15.
15 does hit.
Ooh.
Roll damage. Your axe swings in and slices a huge wound across its chest. As remember, it's wounded now. You're going to have to remind me about your sword.
Okay, right. So, it has to make a con saving throw?
Okay. No, that's the end of its turn. After it takes damage.
Okay, so it has one level of wound.
Okay.
And it takes 15 damage.
15 damage as your sword streaks across it, and you kind of see the necrotic magic seep into its flesh as it takes 15 points of slashing damage. It's like looking around, and it is going to look at you, and it looks like it's about to attack you, but all of a sudden its head turns to Vandris, and he just sprints at Vandris, and it's going to go run at Vandris. And
Can I make an opportunity attack?
No, it's right there. It's right next to you.
Oh, you're right. JK Sen.
And it is going to go and attack 2 claw attacks against Vandris here, and that is going to be 2. Oh, so 1 is going to hit and 1 is going to miss. And
I'll uncanny dodge the first hit.
okay, well it's going to deal a nice 4 points of piercing damage as its claw sinks in. But I need you to make a con saving throw, please. We can't hear you.
Con guy got a 12.
12. You feel as its claw sinks into you, you feel it make contact with your bloodstream as you feel something eject out of the claw and seep into your body.
Oh my god, did it just sperm Vandris?
Poison me, Daddy. Poison me.
Spermed him.
It should have looked like it.
Speaking of which, this is a mature story.
Mature stream.
I want to use an opportunity attack.
Oh,
And hi,
because-
fuzzy
and he's gonna miss his
squirrel.
bite attack. Hey, everyone. Yep, opportunity attack. because-
17. Because it's Sentinel.
It hits, it hits.
Sentinel, everybody. Reroll that. I love great swords now. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14.
No, make it 15 because I forgot that I'm adding 6 now. So
Okay.
So my last.
Okay. But it is also going to take, because it's turn, it's going to take 1d4 of necrotic damage as well. And it's going to take 4 points of necrotic damage.
And add 2 wounds. So I roll 1 more because I hit it before the end of its turn. Because it's a reaction.
Yeah, you're right. I'll allow it. Okay.
Combo.
Well, it looks like the technical difficulty monsters have emerged from all of their holes and devoured the rest of the episode. While our minions work on retrieving it, how about I, Orpheus Rhadamanthus, just tell you what happened so you can move forward and get on with your life? Well, first, the do-gooders killed all of the big bad slotty in my nightmare experiment death room, but not without Vandris getting egged. Gross. Unfortunately, Ganji used some of his divine magic to save him from his chest-bursting fate, and they moved on. Boo. The next room in my evil volcano lair was small and dark, with the primary feature being a beautifully crafted bust of who else but me. And boy, did it look great. The instructions were clear. Tell me a sad story and make me cry. Sylvie went first with a whopping 3 stories. The first story was about her childhood. Apparently, being the youngest of 10 siblings is really just the worst, which is really not that surprising, actually. The second of her stories was about meeting her new family, the party of do-gooders. Aw, how heartwarming. She talked about how scared she was of them dying horribly, which was actually quite likely. The third and final story was about the poor little halfling girl that the party rescued when they first joined forces. She talked about how she was a sweet little girl that they all grew attached to, but then involuntarily morphed into the big bad hag. Yikes. Annulin was up next, telling the story of the fire giants raiding her town, killing her father and capturing her mother. Lots of family baggage in this party. Finally, Avantris told a story from his bounty hunting past. He led the team into a sketchy house despite the protests of a comrade. Turns out the house was haunted, and they got swarmed by ghosts. The aforementioned comrade sacrificed herself to save the rest of the group. So noble and yes, all very sad. And so sad it worked. The statue began to cry, and they heard this pre-recorded message.
Well, you got me. Well done. Does anyone smell bacon? Because it's really starting to feel like a breakfast club in here. Well, since you've all been so forthcoming and regaled me with such moving tales, I suppose I'll return the favor and tell you the story of the purple little tiefling boy from the city in the jungle treetops. As all these usually go, his mother died when he was young. Aww. Cliché, I know, but what can you do? His father was a judge, and not the presiding over contested parking tickets and divorce proceedings kind of judge. No, he was the ruler of a whole city kind of judge. And that kind of judge is very, very fond of the rules, regulations, laws, and structure. For that is how you best provide security to the masses. Or so he always said. Being the head of state, deciding the fate of thousands of citizens is hungry work. Well, filling work for the manticores that deliver justice to those found in violation of the city's rules. But, needless to say, the boy's father was always busy and had no time to bother raising him. After all, the rigid rule of law would keep the scamp out of trouble. Well, except it didn't. The boy had read of fantastical adventures of allegedly renowned archaeologists, and they inspired him. These larger-than-life figures didn't give one heck about the rules, and did whatever they wanted. Why couldn't he? Soon he started sneaking down to the jungle floor to lead his own expeditions into the ruins that the area was chock full of. No, seriously, ancient ruins were like candy down there. Anyway, lots of artifacts and relics to be had. He almost died many times. It's actually shocking how many different venomous animals there are. And there may or may not have been a bit of black market wheeling and dealing. Just a teensy tiny bit. Long story short, he gets found out, Dad gets mad and puts him under constant surveillance. As you do. By the way, I swear the story isn't about daddy issues. Anyway, obviously that wouldn't do, so the tiefling did what any properly rambunctious teenager would do in that situation. Run away and join the circus! No, I'm not kidding, so don't laugh. Okay, go ahead and laugh, it's kind of funny. Cliché number 2. So, the restless youth was shipped off with his newfound companions. They were a bunch of ugly weirdos, and the whole thing reeked of owlbear shit. But they enjoyed something that he hadn't truly known. Freedom. Seeing the world, never staying in one place for too long, and embracing the fact that they were a bunch of ugly weirdos together. It was as refreshing as it was totally gross. And there was this one particular woman that took a liking to him, showed him the kindness he had never thought possible, and taught him her skill. Juggling. And so he became, a juggler. If you tell anyone, I will kill you. Well, I'm going to kill you all regardless, but you catch my drift. Life was good for a while, but as all good things do, that came to an end. While the caravan was camped out in a kingdom that wasn't quite as fond of freedom as we were, there were super vague accusations of black magic that was killing the livestock or crops or whatever it is hick peasants care about. The next morning, the tents were a smoldering ruin, the fantastic beasts slaughtered, and the carnies were all swinging from the gallows. Except for that pesky purple tiefling. The kind woman did one last act of kindness, and created a diversion that allowed him to escape. cliche number 3. My word. Saying this all out loud makes me feel like such a cliche. Oh well, as we said in the business, the show must go on. Now, out of a job, our protagonist, finally a man, decided to fulfill his destiny and become an archaeologist. He crossed the sea and enrolled in the snootiest university he could find. How did he pay the exorbitant tuition, you might be asking? Surely jugglers weren't in high demand. And you'd be right, but I did mention both wheelings and dealings in regards to black markets, and let me tell you, that pays just fine. So, he got an education, became a professor, blah blah blah, boring, yawn. Unfortunately, the life of an archaeology professor wasn't what he had romanticized it to be. No raiding tombs, no tight shorts, no whips. I must have been reading the wrong genre. It was more rules, more regulations, more codes of conduct. God, it was terrible. But, luckily, he was a very good liar, and chance would have it that being a good liar is an excellent way to get old, rich people to fund wildly expensive expeditions to the most remote regions of the world. Now we get to the good part. The part I'm sure you all have been dying to know. And I wish I had something more shocking and dramatic for you, but alas, I don't. It was an artifact, typical. An ancient artifact that hadn't seen the light of day for thousands of years. Painfully typical. What cliché are we up to now? I seem to have lost count. Let me ask you a question. If you were face to face with an unfathomably ancient statue in the shape of a grotesque toad creature that was violently shaking, changing color every second, and spewing just about every element from its mouth, what would you do? I'm waiting. If you said anything but touch it immediately, you're a filthy liar. And of course, as you probably could have guessed, a tear in reality opened up and he was sucked into another plane of existence. Most people would have preferred not to have had that happen to them. But what he experienced was the most glorious moment of his entire life. Before him, in all of its beauty, was limbo. Fire, water, earth, air, all raged and shifted from one to the other, all around him. Nothing was static. Nothing made sense. There were no rules to reality, no rules at all. It was pure, unbound chaos, and it was beautiful. It was there he encountered a life form new to him, the Slotty. Superior in every way to mortals, chaos-made flesh. Toad-like in appearance, but nothing's perfect. Suddenly, the statue made sense. As fate would have it, the cruel mistress that she is. He only got a glimpse before being pulled back to the material world. The strange statue nowhere to be seen. Don't ask me how he wasn't immediately ripped apart by the elemental chaos or by some passing slod, because I have no idea. What I do know is that experience changed him. He knew in his soul that he had to go back to Limbo. Or better yet, Limbo had to come back here. And so, like any man of vision, he had a dream. To bring the unadulterated chaos of Limbo to the world, and destroy all of the rules and laws that do nothing but crush the spirits of those stuck living here. And, of course, he wouldn't be able to do it without a little help from his friends. Why do I tell you all this? I don't know. Maybe the heat down here has gotten to me. Or maybe the sheer stupidity of the crocodile folk I've been immersed in has worn off. Either way, you'll all soon die, so it's not like I can't trust you with my secrets. Anyway, come on through.
Thus ends the message, and the door to the next room opened. Pretty good, huh? I bet you weren't expecting all that. The next room was surrounded by magma, and it was so hot that Annulin got exhausted, so they had to act quickly. strange crafted metal pillars with purple wiring running off to the sides of the cavern. The instructions here were to show their power. Through a little bit of inspection and deduction, the mooks figured out that there was a pillar for the arcane, the divine, the nature, and the martial powers. After debating whether it was a good idea to do what I asked of them, and spoiler alert, it was not, they activated all 4 pylons, which opened the next door, but was also the final jolt I needed to trigger my nefarious plan. Yippee! I laughed and taunted them like a proper villain should, and they rushed in to stop me. A boss fight, and that is next episode. Anyways, if the minions are successful in recovering the actual rest of the session, we'll be re-uploading it eventually. Stay tuned, and toodles!